Hi, I'm Peter Haddock and I'm back on site with Mark Sabbato. Mark, who heads up this project with Kier, A417. Wow, the missing link is getting less missing, and so every time we come to site, we now have structures going up right behind us here. Really important next phase of the project, isn't it? Where are we now with the project? What's happening?
So, Peter, look, good to be back on a partly sunny day. Behind us, we've got the Gloucestershire Way Crossing. This is the biggest structure on site. This is our critical path for last year to get this up and out the ground. 38 metres wide, 35 metres of planting on this bridge, and really it serves the Gloucestershire Way footpath, which runs from the side to the other side over there. A green bridge for the nature. Lots of trees, lots of wildlife crossings on it. That's what it's all about.
But lots of engineering, folks, because we see behind you here, we see a JCB machine that's actually digging material away from a bank there, where last year we were seeing a lot of piling done there. Tell me a little bit about some of the engineering challenges that you've had to overcome.
So on the western side over there where that excavator is, that's a contiguous pile wall. So the piles are sitting very tight together. It has a capping beam on the top. So we've piled, we've cast the capping beam, the structures team in here have cast the capping beam in. Now we're at the stage where we can start taking away the material from the front and exposing that whole contiguous pile wall. So that's what we'll see in the finished works. We'll see all the pile wall in front of us. That's what they've started this week, just taking that away now. And they'll reduce that down and it will give us the perception of what we will see in the finished works. Currently, we've had that block of material there. We've not been able to get an alignment of where we're heading. Once that material's gone, we won't be able to see the whole thing, the whole width of the road.
Fantastic, and I think that's really important because this is a dual carriageway going up, and you know this missing link is going to do wonders for the traffic. Again, stuck in the traffic here down the A417, that will go away soon. But Mark, we've also changed a lot with the project because we talked about the gradient change from 10 to 8%. That's now happening, isn't it? 1 million tons or million cube, was it, that you've literally excavated last year?
We did. We set a good target of 1 million cube last year, and the last couple of weeks before Christmas last year, we hit that million. So you know, great achievement by the teams here. We've done really well. Not been easy in the rock. We'll see. We'll have a look at that down there and we'll see where we're at with that rock cutting. You know, the devil's in the detail in there of how we've had to cut it all down and keep that step formation going in. But, you know, a great achievement. You can see the hill coming up behind us. When that material's gone where that excavator is now, that will give us the 5 lanes on that side of the centre of the bridge. And this side is 3 lanes wide. So we're 8 lanes at this point here. We're still on the grade. We're heading up. We're heading in towards the Shab Valley, which is the big interchange on the site.
Right, it's about time we got down to that cut because it looks absolutely crazy what you've had to do there, Mark. So we're going to go down that way. So Mark, we're here and we're a lot lower than we were last time I was here. And this just looks incredible. And even got brushed by the teams here when you've done down those layers. The detail is important, isn't it?
It is, Peter, and this is where we were stood, I think, nearly 12 months ago when we did one of the first early videos. As you can see, we've had a great productive year. We're really pushing on with this cutting here. Still in 8 lanes of traffic at this point, chasing the 1 in 8 grade up the hill. You can probably just see behind us there where it's in a step formation at the moment, but the devil is in the detail here, trying to not to overbreak the rock. By default, everything has to be broken and rehandled and put through the crushers here. But this is what we want to achieve. We want to achieve these nice little step formation in the embankment behind us. It's delicate, it's a soft rock, and it's very easy to overbreak. So hats off to the guys here on these breakers that are forming these embankments. It's a very, very tricky job to do. Once you overbreak it, you've lost it really. You've gone too far. So it's break it down and then just nip at it gently so they don't get too keen and go too mad. But like you say, it is brushed every step as we come down. They've got a brush attachment on the excavators. They brush it all off so it can get left. And there's a rock net sits in the bottom in the final. We don't put any rock netting on this at all. There's a rock trap sits in the bottom of rock netting as we get down to our finish levels. And then we just keep pushing through.
Yep, and this is what is so exciting about this project because You don't know what's underground. We've got fissures and things like that with the rock as well. You've done the ground penetrating radar, you've done the delicate work, but all of this has been 3D modelled before we even started. What has been the impact of doing that 3D model, and how has it enabled you to progress with care on this project?
Well, it's all about, we've spoke about this before, this is, it's standard practice now in the industry. Everything is working off the 3D models. It lets us create a picture of what we're going to see in the end works. There's a lot of artist impressions and that go about, but the actual 3D model lets us see where we're heading and what we've got to do and what it looks like, and it gives everyone a good perception. You can get that vision in your head, you know what you're going to be seeing and what you're going to be looking at in the future works, and it helps us to build it. We can all we can see, I talk about it a lot, but by looking at 3D model and working with the 3D models, you can actually, what you're going into and you know how it will look in the end. Yep. It's not that I've gone through all the drawings, all the details, and it's all in the head. Yep. I look through the 3D model and it will give me that vision of what it looks like in the end works.
And of course, you've got a client in National Highways and they actually want to see the project progressing, and as you go down to different levels and do more surveying work, that model changes, doesn't it, to the as-built model or the as-developing model.
Yes.
And that's really important, isn't it, to know that you're on the time frame, because we've had some terrible weather, for example, and you've got certain targets to hit, like you said, that million cube before. Really important to be able to manage that, isn't it?
It is, and the expectation is, we've got to meet programme. We're doing that very well at the moment, and that's the key to it. Any job, any form of build in any aspect, ultimately you've got to meet programme. We don't want to be going over programme. We are a little bit ahead of the curve here, but what it's doing for us, it's giving us that little bit of a buffer zone.
Yeah.
So in case we encounter any issues, certainly we don't. We're still in the unknown as we go down here. We've still got quite a way to go. We don't know what we're going to find.
Yep.
Touch wood, so far everything's gone well, and we're managing to work it well, but there could be a 30 or 40 foot void underneath us, that we don't know. So
yeah, absolutely.
Ultimately we've got to meet programme. We've got to get everything surveyed and all these as-built drawings built and done for the client.
And the great thing is as well, when you brought somebody on like Walters from the very start of the project, even some of the takeoff, they were doing that. So all the material is being moved well, isn't it? You have to move it, you have to crush it, because we're not bringing in a lot of material on site. But Walters have invested in a lot of new equipment. We've just seen a motor grader as well, keeping those haul roads in top condition. All of that works together, doesn't it? It
does, and that's we did speak before about the early contractor involvement, which we brought Walters in. In fact, all our contractors here that will be working on the scheme or are working on the scheme have been in with us on early contractor involvement. Walters came in early doors for the archaeology in the back end of 2022, and they helped us develop the programme and build the programme and offer their expertise. They're the experts, that's why they're here.
Yep.
And their journey has been with us from the start, and through all the archaeology work that they did last year, there's material now placed that will get used in the future works, and they're deciding on where it goes as per their mass haul and in their schematic drawings. So that's the beauty of having them in, rather than just go out to a contractor and say come and build this. They're helping us to input the programme and work on design and everything else.
And it certainly is complicated. Step by step by step we're going right now with Mark and the team. There's plenty more steps to go, Mark, and we'll be following them with Mark and talking about other key things that you've got. Well, because guess what, folks, when we finish doing all of this, we're going to need some blacktop on the top of it, aren't we?
Certainly
and
are.
So that's coming along down the line as well. Great to see you, Mark.
Thanks, Peter.